Hey there. There have been a lot of things I've been intending to post that I have not posted for various reasons, mostly due to the effect it would have on you and how you would manifest your life and your next experiences based on the knowledge shared that you may or may not be ready to hear or comprehend. So before we go anywhere further with any sort of archon or aeon information or what to do with your relationships or any of that, we need to establish something first. Now, I may be posting this video or another video later today. We'll see what the universe says about it. But before we get to that one, we have to establish something. Nothing outside of you is relevant right now. The only relevance the outside world that you're experiencing has is that it is a direct mirror to your inner world. So the rebound you're dating, the marriage you're in, the job you can't stand, the parental issues you're trying to get over, the memories of your parents, splitting or beating each other, cheating on each other, your track record of horrible relationships that you've abandoned and walked away from one after another, your coping mechanisms of drinking, smoking, fucking, lying, cheating, abusing, the lack of comprehension you have towards energy, psychic abilities, the laws of the universe, the laws of nature, what nature actually is, what you are. These things, attempting to explain them to you and get you to realize what they are is completely pointless. Completely. I cannot and will not be another voice echoing the same bullshit across the entire internet for you. I'm tired of it. It's just one more lemming, cookie cutter, beautiful person sitting there saying, oh, this is the law of attraction and this is what you got to do. Like, no, that's not how we're doing things here. That's where you were to get to where you are, which is right here. Which means when you're here, we're doing things a little differently. We're going to do things with a proper use of positive energy while harnessing negative energy to transmute it to positive energy. We're not going to resist evil. We're not going to resist good. We're not going to bow down to gods, and we're not going to bow down to man. When you're here with me, you are vibrating and resonating at my frequency, which means you, deep down inside, blessed well, that you are this universe. What you're experiencing is a reflection of you. Now, if you don't know this, but you're just waking up to it, good morning. I love you. I love you. I love you way too much to waste your life telling you what ancient beings are doing or what people in suits are doing or how to manifest your way out of the bullshit you've caused. That's your mess, and you can clean it up yourself. Your universe has a different narrative than mine does. Me telling you about what the great goddess Sophia is doing could help you. But if you're not fixing the fundamental foundation that you're building your life on first, the stories I add onto it will become clutter. If you don't have the basic comprehension of the law of attraction, then what I tell you goes into your subconscious and you end up attracting it. And recently I've had an experience with the demiurge and a few other consciousnesses, and profound, life-changing, soul-evolving experiences. And not the I, the human I, but the ego that is working with the soul to evolve the light of consciousness within. That I really want better for you. Because if you continuously manifest relationships in your life where, excuse me, if you're perpetually manifesting relationships where you're being cheated on, lied to, abused, beaten, you got bills to pay, debts to do, what is that Jewel song? Another dollar, another bill, another woe. Like, all that, right? You don't need all of it. You really don't. The worst things in your life are there for you to turn them into the better. That abusive partner you're with, or you were with, or you're going to be with, is only there to teach you how to love them back to the God that they are, and to love you back to the God that you are. Because if you claim that you are a goddess or a god, then you are claiming to be connected to unconditional love and the source of the originator. You're connected to that energy stream, which means you are infinite and eternal, which means even a plethora of millions and billions of universes of energy vampires couldn't ever drain you, because you're infinite. So you saying that an ex hurt you, or that a future person could hurt you, or that you're doing it to someone else now, means that you're doing it to get attention. To get attention from somebody that is connected to Source, to connect you to Source. Okay? Congratulations, I'm here. Now, in order for you and the rest of us to move forward properly, you have to walk your talk. If you're saying you're a goddess or a god and you're part of the, a fractal of the infinite, you have to comprehend what that means. It means that the law of attraction works for you, first of all, regardless of whether you're conscious of it or not. So if you claim to be a god or a goddess, then guess what? The law of attraction is working to bring you god, goddess status experiences. And if you're turning into a human towards these experiences, you are choosing to be less than what you claim you are, which is causing a split in your reality, which then causes negative manifestations to appear, because your mind, body, and spirit are not in alignment. You with me so far? I guess it doesn't matter, you can rewind. So, the Demiurge, Sophia, Jesus, all these figures from Christianity to every other religion that's been forgotten by time. None of them matter. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Right now, none of them matter. Yes, you are on a planet, aka the goddess Sophia. You are a fractal of the originator. The Christ light is also within you. Christ is also the quote-unquote twin flame of Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is also Sophia. And you are on Sophia right now. You are also Sophia herself. You're also Jesus. You're also all the other ones. They are all reflections of you. Throughout history, these beings, these versions of you, have incarnated to remind everyone of one very simple basic thing: the law of attraction. The originator, which is neither male nor female, the law of attraction, the originator, and your connection, and also to inform you of the living goddess you are upon. So, in order for me to teach you anything, or to show you anything, or to help you make sense of anything, you have to know what you are first. And by knowing what you are, I don't need to do anything. Just look at YouTube. All of the law of attraction coaches, the life coaches, the astrologers, tarot readers, oracle cards, psychics, mediums, gym workout people, people that teach you how to have better careers, people that teach you how to cook, and, cat videos. They're all doing one thing. One, they're not doing anything else other than one predominant thing that is fractalized into multitudes of kaleidoscoped things of the same thing you're looking at. They're teaching you how to harness the law of attraction. But before you can harness it properly and not manifest abusive things for yourself, you have to do the inner work. What is the inner work? Reconnecting your power source, taking care of your human body, loving yourself, having confidence, having self-worth, being full of common sense, integrity, and wisdom. How do you gain wisdom? Through suffering. And you've suffered enough, which means it's time to accept your wisdom, which means it's time for the goddess Sophia, also the god Sophos, which is the male version of Sophia, to take part in you. The God, the Christ consciousness, the compassion within all living beings, to take hold within you, for you to reconnect with your unconditional love, the ability to love without conditions, yourself and the other. In order for you to do those things, you must first be made to encounter suffering. If you cannot love without conditions those that have made you suffer, you are not ready to claim that you are a god or a goddess. Because no being in existence is given the power to create if they don't unconditionally love. Because then you create horrible things. So all of the war, famine, pestilence, and death in your life is because someone is manifesting all of that due to lack of self-love. The narcissists in your life, the people who cheat on you, beat you, lie to you, your drunk father, your cold mother, your loving mother, and your, non-existent father, whatever your drama is. None of that would continue even a second from now if you unconditionally love them all, including yourself. The person who cheated on you, the one who raped you, the one who left you, the one who stole your house and your children and ran off to live on Venus, like whatever, it doesn't matter. They are just pieces, actors, and moments in a play. Can you love unconditionally regardless of what suffering you're put through? If you can, congratulations, you're a Christed being. Now go teach the world how to love everybody and themselves. Because that's what Jesus did. That's what Mary Magdalene did. That's what Mother Mary did. That's what all the ones from New Zealand to the North Pole did. They all taught the law of attraction and unconditional love of self and other. To forgive, to have compassion, to have self-worth and confidence and dignity and integrity. All the aeons are virtues of a decent human being. All the archons are virtues of somebody who lack the light of creation. Bringing them together, you have a balanced entity. You take every archon and you match them up with every aeon, and you have a one single normal human being. You take all of the wars and famine, death and pestilence in the world, and you combine them with everything in the world now that supposedly heals it, and you have a normal society. But there's a middle veil in between to where you can't see that tree outside is just as important as you. So you treat the tree with less respect. Dogs pee on it. People throw garbage near it. But your poop is food for that tree. That tree's poop that it breathes out is oxygen to you. The fruit it gives is your food. Now, are you going to unconditionally love that tree or say it's insignificant? Are you going to continue to repeat the stories your parents lived so that you can learn what they went through to forgive them? Like, you know how many times I've seen my parents fight over the stupidest shit? The stupidest. Like, how can you fight about adjusting curtains? Like, do you want to fight about this now? This, right here. Let's fight. 40-year marriage, let's fight over it. Because, hey, I wanted the curtain that way, and you're putting it this way, and it means I don't love you anymore. Or how about I go and drink myself silly while I leave my wife or husband in the next room crying because I'm punishing them to show them how it felt to hurt me. So you get to suffer because you made me suffer, and I'm going to show you how much I suffered by making you suffer. Or when you're little and your grandfather or your mother or your dad bitch slaps you across the face and they're like, get the fuck out of my face, you little shit. And you go off in your room and you cry and you can't figure out why your parents did that. And then in your 30s, you beat the shit out of your wife or your husband. And then you realize, oh, the reason I did this was because I felt like complete shit and I had no respect for myself. And then I showed it to this other person so that they could see that I don't respect myself, so that they can give me respect, so that I can love myself. You know what the fatal flaw in that is? That you're expecting other people to be more connected to source than you are. So you hurt people so that they can heal you. But what you're not realizing is that the ones you're hurting are going to need to be healed too. So this chain of pain that causes narcissism and abuse and creation of evil in the world starts with you. And this entire world is reflected back at you to show you how to stop being an asshole. Because assholes do one thing, two things. Do you really want me to tell you what it is they do? I guess they do three things. Anyway, don't be an asshole. Don't be your father. Don't be your mother. Because they failed at what they were supposed to be doing in life. They were supposed to change the foundation of how relationships are done, to reconnect people back to unconditional love. In their timeline, they failed, which is why we're here. Because we're supposed to learn from their mistakes to do better now, so that the children being born now, 20 years from now, won't be spending their time teaching the law of attraction on YouTube. They'll actually be living life and creating a utopian society, because the morons that think utopia can't happen will have ceased to exist, or their consciousness has been recycled into other bodies to where they're more capable of comprehending what the law of attraction is. Because there's no fluoride in them. There's no bullshit in them. There's no 1,000 years of programming that they didn't want to deal with. They just drank it away or fucked it away. So you're here to change the way things are done. And I don't care if you call yourself a twin flame or whatever. You know, that's your story. That's your narrative. The whole point of it is, can you unconditionally love? Can you reconnect yourself so that even if you're surrounded by 1 billion energy vampires and people abusing you and doing horrible things to you, that you still shine with the light of creation? If the sun can do it, why can't you? If God can do it, why can't you? And God is the demiurge, right? The devil and the God. And then the originator is everything else, like all of it. So the demiurge is just as much originator as you are. Sophia is just as much you are, and just as much of the demiurge. The demiurge came from Sophia. You are on a goddess that birthed the devil, and you are playing favorites with a mother and child. Do you get that? And the other one of you are playing favorites with a dad. Like, oh, we love Sophia. No, we love Jesus. No, it's all about God. But it's a mother, father, and a child. And the mother and father are one being. Jesus and Sophia were one unit outside of this binary. It's all Sophia. This universe is Sophia, the Aeon. You are Sophia. Jesus is Sophia. All of it is Sophia. Because wisdom, Sophia, can only be gained through suffering. And this world indulges in suffering, which means it's Sophia, it's wisdom. And wisdom is nothing without compassion. Jesus. Change the names however you want, in any religion you want, and even in, whatever. King Arthur and Guinevere. Merlin and Morgana, Luke and Leia, like whatever, you know, Scott Summers and Jean Grey, Scarlet Witch and Vision, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, Ariel and Eric, Aquaman and his red-haired wife. Like, you get it, right? The red-haired woman with the brown-haired man going throughout history, teaching the world how to be better. And you guys, 2,000 years later, are still asking to learn the same lesson that they taught 2,000 years ago, which was being taught 3,000 years prior to that, all the way to 15 to 25,000 years prior to that, which was the last cataclysm. And then prior to that, it was 25 to 56,000 years of another session of all this. How dumb and dense do you want to be as a God incarnate, that it takes 100,000+ years and 3 cycles of creation to teach you how to unconditionally love? Because let's face it, the goddess left during Lemuria and prior to that, which means the male aspect, the masculine energy, screwed something up. Compassion was lost. The goddess can't function without compassion, because then she becomes the Queen of Swords. Harsh, cold, wintry. And then you bring the sun of God, the warmth, the compassion, the kindness. And people think, oh, it's the feminine energy that brings that. No, it's not. The feminine energy is the one that leads and moves forward and creates and establishes foundations. The masculine energy is the warmth, the heat, the seed, the love, the heart. That's why Jesus is known as the lion. The lion is also the 4th house, the Leo, the heart chakra, the home, the family. In the matriarchal societies, it wasn't women ruling everything. You know how they say behind every great man is a great woman? Back then, it was behind every great woman is a man taking care of the family. Men were what women are seemed to be now, housewives. And the women were what we see the ridiculous men in this world be now. Career-oriented, leaders of society, shamans, healers, medicine people, prophets, oracles, blah, blah, blah. Except you couldn't be a oracle of God if you were male or female. You had to be a hermaphrodite, because the masculine and feminine energy had to be in unity within you in order for you to channel God. Because God is unity of male and female. The demiurge is a hermaphrodite. Gaia Sophia is a hermaphrodite. Jesus, like Adam, is a hermaphrodite. Angels are androgynous. They have no gender. Most of them can switch gender like a snake to be masculine or feminine, because Sophia and the demiurge and you as a human being are also reptile. Just look at your skin. I mean, really, just look at your skin. You have scales, buddy. Oh, focus, you camera. See them scales? You're part snake. You're part everything. So, if you are going to claim to be a god or a goddess, if you're going to claim to be doing any form of anything to help the collective, then I am asking you, as another version of you, to cut the bullshit. No fight in any relationship is worth you stopping the amount of love you give someone. I have had the worst experiences in my life occur to me, and I have been the person that brought the worst experiences of someone else's life to them. And throughout all of it, I've realized something very simple. When I wasn't around that person, I really loved that person. When I was around that person, I really couldn't stand that person. Why? Because I was mirroring back to them what they were feeling about themselves. They were mirroring back to me what I felt about myself. When I was afraid of him cheating, guess what he did? He cheated. When he was afraid of me going off and yelling, guess what happened? I went off and yelled. Guess what the solution was to all of it? Guess what the actual freaking solution to all of your problems are? You're going to hate this. I'm telling you this now because I hated it when I heard it. I couldn't stand hearing this. And I heard it from not only entities, guides, dreams, friends, law of attraction coaches, parents, everyone. What's more important? Love or you feeling hate? One day that person that you're hating and holding a grudge on won't be there. And the object of your hatred will have gone, and then your hatred will go, and then you will be left with how much you actually love them. And then what? Then you're stuck with grief and sorrow and regret, and then boom, pain becomes a cancer within you, and you become a narcissist even more. And then someone else has to suffer enough to make you feel better about yourself. And then they become the narcissist. But if you actually reconnected with your unconditional loving source, and in the moment that a fight is happening, or that you remember how much you don't like someone, or what they did or what they didn't do, put it all aside and communicate how you feel. Because when I was in that relationship with someone where we made each other's worst dreams and best dreams come true, during the times where we were fighting, if I would have just stopped and said, I really don't feel well right now, what we're doing is contributing to me feeling negative and feeling low, or I feel afraid, I feel angry, or I feel unloved, or what you said really makes me feel a certain way, even though you can't make me feel a certain way. This is demeaning to me. What you're saying is demeaning. What you're saying is hurtful. If we would have just communicated and hugged it out and gone for a walk, we would have been fine. But instead, we split, we went to rebounds, we went to bullshit relationships, we went to different paths, and years later, we're still in love. Why? Because the love was the real thing. The other stuff was shit we were going through to clean off the love we have. It's like clearing the clutter in your house. You throw away what you don't want, but what you are keeping is the house because it's the foundation. Sure, it was messed up in the beginning, but it can be restored, it can be fixed, and a new foundation can be built with it. But if you're going to keep moving forward and leaving like hearts, like that Christina Perry song, Jar of Hearts, if you're going to completely disregard the laws of creation, energy, life, love, gods, goddesses, your own decency, and you're just going to go from one to the next until you're 98, and then that relationship works because you have 2 years to live or whatever, and then, by that time you're just in the puppy love phase anyway. Like, what's the point? What's the point of you wasting your life with shallow relationships when the important ones in your life were the ones that made you break apart at the seams? Because the seams you were building yourself on were messed up, and they were lacking the basic cement of your life, which is love. No, I'm not condoning that you stay in abusive relationships. What I am saying is communicate. Communicate. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, guess what? They're a narcissist because you think they are. So when they're interacting with you based on what you think about them, because they mirror it back at you. Look up Neville Goddard. Everyone is you pushed out. The law of attraction. You attract what you think and feel. The fractal universe, the holographic universe. It is all you reflected out so that you can defragment your light, which means you reconnect to unconditional love and love everything and everyone without conditions, and in doing so you heal the world, which is you. So that person that really hurt you is the one that loves you the most, because they stood there and did that horrible shit to you. And I'm using this from a personal example. The guy I was with, where we did horrible things to each other, he loved me more than anyone I have ever known in my entire life, and I didn't have the comprehension to see past the pain, to realize I'm attracting this through him so that I can release it from me, because he's the only one that has the capacity to love unconditionally enough to bring this negativity towards me through his God force, so that my God force can clear this muck out of our lives. But instead, we act like, reality TV, and we're like, girl, he cheated. Leave that bitch. He yelled at you. He said that. She said this. Like, no, that's immature. That's Kardashian talk, and sorry, Kardashians, but that's basically what it is. If you're going to claim to be a god or a goddess, if you're going to claim to be an adult, then you need to learn how to communicate. And it doesn't matter if you can communicate with people that are nice to you. Can you communicate with people who emotionally trigger you? Can you go to the person who cheated on you and sit down and talk to him face to face and say, what you did really contributed to me feeling terrible about myself, and I would really appreciate if we can hug it out and move forward, and we communicate about what it is that caused you to cheat and what it is that caused me to think that I'm not worth being loyal to. Together we can work it out, and we can move forward as a relationship that got through such horrible things to where those things will never happen again. But if we split and move to other relationships, then these things are going to echo over and over and over until we learn the same lesson. And by then, the person who you really loved in the beginning becomes the one that got away. Because by the time you realize they were the one, you're already off in another relationship thinking, ugh, if I only coulda, shoulda, woulda. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to you to take on the virus of narcissism. Especially because the virus of narcissism only exists because somebody didn't love themselves enough. In the beginning of time, the first ever narcissist was Sophia. Think about it. This universe is that, therefore she had to be the first. Can you forgive her? If you can forgive her, why can't you forgive your partner who cheated on you? Why can't you forgive the one who yelled at you? Why can't you forgive your mother who didn't pay attention to you? Or your father who beat your mother? Or your father who cheated and left you when you were 6 or 7? You don't need to repeat those histories or those lessons. You just need to unconditionally love, to love without condition. Make peace with the war within you. Because otherwise, you're just fighting battles day in and day out. I love you without conditions. Nothing you do or have done will ever get